If you think Costco is a retail company, you are analyzing the wrong business. The products fill the warehouse, but the profit begins before you even enter. You see pallets, bulk packaging, and prices that look aggressively low. What you don't see is the financial architecture hidden behind the entrance gate. And here's the first question. Why would a company willingly operate on razor-thin margins? To answer that, you have to go back before Costco existed. The blueprint began decades earlier. In 1954, Saul Price founded FedMart in San Diego, one of the first membership-based warehouse retailers. It restricted access to government employees and required an annual fee. At the time, that decision seemed counterintuitive. Why limit customers when most retailers chased maximum foot traffic? Price believed something different. He believed that charging up front altered the psychology of consumption. When customers paid to belong, loyalty became contractual rather than emotional. That was the real experiment. FedMart proved that extremely low markups combined with paid access could create powerful purchasing behavior. Price famously emphasized that loyalty earned through price discipline was stronger than loyalty bought through advertising. Here's the tension. If low margins were the strategy, how could the company scale profitably? The answer was not higher markups. It was structural design. Jim Sinegal, who later co-founded Costco in 1983, absorbed that philosophy. Costco would cap markups around 14 to 15% and focus instead on something far more stable: membership. Before you purchase anything, you pay an annual fee. That single requirement transforms the economics of the entire model. This is the leverage pivot. Costco operates through three distinct layers, and once you see them, you cannot unsee them. The visible layer is what you experience: wide aisles, limited SKUs, pallet displays, and consistently low prices. The operational layer is discipline. Roughly 4,000 SKUs compared to tens of thousands at traditional grocers, concentrated purchasing power, rapid inventory turnover, and aggressive supplier negotiation. Then there is the leverage layer: membership. As of 2025, Costco serves more than 150 million cardholders worldwide, with over 70 million paid household memberships. Membership fee revenue recently approached $6 billion annually. In recent fiscal years, those fees have contributed more than 70% of operating income. Fees also increased approximately 8% year over year following selective membership price adjustments. Pause and consider what that means. The majority of Costco's operating profit does not come from selling goods. It comes from selling access. Merchandise margins often sit around 2 to 3% at the net level. That is dramatically lower than most traditional retailers. So why accept margins that small? Because merchandise is not the engine. It is the loyalty mechanism. Low prices build trust. Trust drives renewal. Renewal creates predictable cash flow. Costco's renewal rate now sits around 91% in the United States and Canada. That level of retention resembles subscription software platforms more than brick-and-mortar stores. If you are thinking structurally, that should change how you evaluate the business. If consumer spending slows, Costco still collects membership fees. If specific product categories weaken, renewal revenue remains largely intact. If volatility increases, Costco still gets paid. The merchandise absorbs transactional noise. Membership stabilizes structural income. This is where the golden handcuffs analogy becomes useful. Once you pay to belong, you feel compelled to extract value from that membership. The upfront fee subtly nudges repeat visits and bulk purchasing. You are not just shopping, you are validating your decision. Now think about pricing signals. The $1.50 hot dog and soda combination has remained unchanged for decades. The rotisserie chicken is widely believed to operate at near break-even levels. Are those products profit centers? Or are they loyalty anchors? When you see unmistakable value, renewal feels rational. The perception of discipline reinforces the belief that the annual fee is justified. This is not emotional manipulation. It is incentive architecture. Here is another question. What happens when that architecture combines with data? Costco's digital ecosystem has expanded significantly in 2025. Increased mobile app adoption has contributed to measurable sales lifts, with digital engagement driving roughly 15% increases in certain categories through targeted visibility and inventory awareness. That matters. Membership accounts tied directly to purchasing history. That data improves forecasting accuracy and supplier negotiations. The visible business is wholesale retail. The leverage layer is subscription plus behavioral insight. Now, consider Kirkland's signature. Kirkland products account for roughly 25% or more of total sales volume in certain categories. That private label concentration strengthens negotiating leverage and margin efficiency without violating the low markup philosophy. Suppliers compete for placement. Shelf space is scarce. When SKU count is limited, bargaining power increases. Now step back again. Costco appears to compete on price. In reality, it competes on renewal psychology. The product attracts attention. The structure captures profit. Most people analyze Costco by comparing price tags. Sophisticated investors analyze Costco by examining renewal rates, membership growth, and fee increases. Which lens are you using? If this perspective surprises you, consider what it implies about other retailers. Walmart, for example, operates at enormous scale, but relies far less on mandatory membership as its primary anchor. That structural difference produces different risk exposure and different margin flexibility. We will unpack that contrast next. But first, understand the reinforcing loop. Recurring membership revenue reduces volatility. Reduced volatility supports stronger valuation. Stronger valuation lowers capital costs. Lower capital costs enable expansion without destabilizing margins. The warehouse you see is only part of the story. Costco does not primarily scale groceries. It scales membership contracts layered over disciplined inventory control. The bulk goods create traffic. The annual fee anchors profit. Once you see that structure, the warehouse begins to look less like a discount store and more like a subscription platform wrapped in concrete walls. If you value this type of breakdown, subscribe so you don't miss the next structural analysis. We are building a series that compares leverage architectures across major companies. Now, ask yourself one final question. Would you rather compete on daily margins or on contractual loyalty backed by renewal data? When you understand the incentive structure, the outcome stops being surprising. Costco isn't winning because it sells cheaper goods. It is winning because it monetizes commitment before competition even begins. In the next episode, we examine how Walmart approaches leverage differently and why the two models create very different long-term economics. Subscribe if you want to see how that comparison unfolds, and share which company's hidden architecture you want analyzed next. Thank you for watching.